Hey everybody, it's Gary Lucas here. It's 3 o'clock, as Caroline just reminded me. I've got my coffee, iced coffee ready, and a whole bunch of nice goodies for you. So let's just get the thing rolling here. Okay. That's to get the ball rolling, and that is an instrumental entitled Ellie's House, and I wrote that at my old friend Ellie Medeiros' house in Paris. Oh, back there, must have been in the 90s, 97, 98 maybe. And I always enjoyed playing that. And then some years later, this came in handy, this particular instrumental, when I got with my friend Jan Close and an old colleague of mine from CBS Records, Dan Beck, and we set a lyric and a melody to that music, essentially. And it's a song called Mary Magdalene, which you can hear. We did a video for it that's pretty good, about the first responders, the very brave firemen who battled the terrible destruction on I was going to say 9/11 in the wake of Hurricane Sandy, which we lived through, but was quite a traumatic event here. And I recall being here in this room in the apartment on the Sunday night where the storm really hit, Superstorm Sandy, and the power going down. There's a light over in the corner. It just faded and then came halfway back in intensity, and then it was a blackout. And winds were howling, but we didn't really get hit as badly as people in across the river, for instance, and then in other areas of New Jersey and Long Island. And it just was a complete devastating nightmare. And I have to say, Caroline, who's sitting behind me working away, slaving over a hot computer, she was fortunate enough to be invited to teach that weekend at a college in Pennsylvania by our friend Pearl Gluck. And so she managed to avoid this. In Ohio. Okay, there you go. In Ohio, Pennsylvania. So, but she came back, I think, on the Thursday of the week, and the power still was not back on here. Power was still not back on here, but I was used to going out every day to forage for food and a charge of electricity to keep my cell phone operating, because everything else was out. Not everything, actually. The gas jet still worked in the stove here, so I was doing cooking by candlelight, such as it was. I mean, heating up some old stale beans, to quote Don Van Vliet, Captain Beefheart. But then she came back, and none of the traffic lights were working, so she had a wild ride from the airport after landing, but I had the apartment all set up. And we had 2 adventuresome evenings together, and then in the middle of the night, or early in the morning on the Saturday, the lights just went back on, out of the blue, and we were back in business somewhat. But I digress. But you guys seem to like my digressions, and God knows I got a lot of them. So I want to say thank you here right off the top to Anna Brzezinska, who sent me some dough from Poland. Thank you so much, Anna. And if you're tuning in here, you know I am of Polish-Jewish extraction on my mother's side of the family. And I've played there and enjoyed it immensely. I played at the Off Plus Camera Festival in Krakow as the guest of my friend, the great director Jerzy Skolimowski, who did Deep End and some other great films. I like to play there, and I played in Jedwabne, Poland, where the family was wiped out in a pogrom. But I know there's some great people in Jedwabne, so thank you. Joseph Ledoux, my buddy, who's a professor of neurophysiology at NYU and a musician in his own right. Thank you, Joe, for that contribution. And my track, Take Me to Zakazba, is winging its way to you. And to anybody who wants it and is willing to throw down $20, I have a beautiful instrumental in a pristine recording sent as a WAV file. But you don't have to stop at $20. I mean, the sky's the limit here, folks, especially if you want some requests honored. Dan Cicchetti, you are the man. You're a multiple contributor, and you are a generous soul indeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mark Green, I can say the same for you. Plus, Mark is taking lessons with me over Skype, or did we do it on Zoom last time? I don't know. I got a couple of students, and because they can't really always see the fretboard so well in this format, we tried Zoom, and I think that worked out better. And Philip Smith, also from England, thank you. He just ordered a whole bunch of CDs autographed by moi. And there, I want to tell you, Tanya, my webmaster, Tanya Weeman, who's been with me forever and dragged me kicking and screaming into the digital age against my will. Tanya has restored the merchandise store on my website, and pretty much all of my CDs are still available there, I think. There might be a few out of stock, but I'm working on it. I'll get them by hook or by crook and autograph them, and then, you can purchase them. And there's some fine stuff in there. What am I going to, I don't think there was any. It's all killer, no filler. Okay. was an instrumental, and that was a request by my friend Richard Tim in Hertfordshire, UK, and that's Will o' the Wisp, a very good recording of which will be on my forthcoming album, The Essential Gary Lucas. And in the meantime, you can hear a version I did with my friend, this great conceptual saxophonist, Tony Dejo. We did this record in Budapest a few years ago, which is called Gary and Tony Go Nuts. And the cover, I mean, if you can see it, it's by the great William Rawlinson, a satiric artist from the Elizabethan days. And it's like a skeleton duking it out with a guy. And so we sort of battle each other to the death here, but the skeleton always wins. My first album, Skeleton at the Feast, available on my website. If it's not there in the merch page yet, it will be there in about a week, so hang on. That one kind of put me on the map. I want to thank Matt Snow. I don't know if he's still writing, but he gave that 5 stars in Q, which I understand now Q Magazine just bit the dust. So sorry to hear about that. It's tough for print journalists, isn't it? It's tough for musicians, tough to be an artist, tough to be a Jew. It's like really hard for everybody now, but let's try and hang in there in a positive way. But I have to say, this is a good one to get because it has a track on it, number 5, called Trout Fishing in Trump America with a K. And that was well before the election. This was when he had just announced the Donald that he was running. And I have to tell you, I don't want to claim any sort of like special prescience here, but I did remark to my wife and my friends, I think he could win. I was horrified at the prospect of him running. And they all kind of laughed and sloughed it off. And I said, what do you mean? America right now is ripe for a demagogue. It's like the perfect storm conditions gathering. I could easily see it. I was out there, actually, I mentioned this to Michael Dorf, who runs City Winery. We were in Chicago. I was playing his special Cyber Seder, whatever he calls it now, during Passover. And our hotel was situated right next to a giant Trump Tower in Chicago. And nobody really thought he could get in, but I did. And I don't want to say, I take no pleasure in saying I told you so. But the latest moves with this private militia sending to the war zone of Portland, a very, dangerous, unstable situation being, commandeered by a stable genius is very alarming in that it's like a classic play out of the fascist textbook, and I would say plague book now. So we have to keep our eye on that situation. But again, I guess it's announced that other paramilitary anonymous people from what? The Customs and Border Patrol, the Homeland Security Office, they're being sent to try and bring law and order to Chicago and New York because of the spiraling crime rates. Or it's just nonsensical to me. And but I guess this is a rubric that the guy is going to run on this fall. So all I would say is I'm staying pretty much indoors as I do anyway now, from September till the election and probably after the election, because who knows what's going to happen there. But as the Chinese remark, may you live in interesting times. I can remember them being more interesting than now. Something else that just crossed my desk that I'm about to tackle that I want to recommend as I started to read it is this great new biography of Malcolm McLaren by Paul Gorman. It's just published in the UK. Got some great press in the TLS. I'm a subscriber to the Times Literary Supplement for many a year. And I'm fascinated by the guy's career. I talked about him last time. And then I was recently posting about this wonderful book, The Most Dangerous Man in America, all about Timothy Leary's escapades on the run. He was incarcerated for a mere 2 joints in a federal minimal security prison in Lompoc, California. They really had to try and nail him because they felt he was a menace to society. Just like the Rolling Stones at one point, that his message was just too dangerous to allow people to hear. So he was locked up and doing time, and then was busted out by the Weather Underground in the company of Bernardine Dohrn and Bill Ayers, who were running when it was called the Weathermen at that time. So this book is one of the best researched and vividly detailed book about this period, and I can't make it up to tell you what happened next, but you just should read it. It's a real good read. All right, I'm going to move over to electric guitar now. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do, let's see, another instrumental going back a ways, and this one is entitled Body on the Bayou. Body on the Bayou. And how are we today? Horror are we today? How's Bayou? Was the title of a great horror comic, EC comic, back in the day, illustrated by the great Ghastly, whose real name was Graham Ingalls. Horror are we today? How's Bayou? Could tell there was a heavy Jewish component, courtesy of the publisher William Gaines and the editor Harvey Kurtzman in those old EC comics. And okay, I think I'll play a little bit of National Steel guitar for you. Yeah, let's get that slide. Here's my bottleneck. And I tell you, especially in weather like this, I need these. On the J45. And, okay, here we go. Hey, that's to Ellie again, and Ellie is in Uruguay, waiting out the pandemic, and I hope you're watching. And yeah, what else do I have to say? I just did a playlist of a dozen of my favorite films for great Kino Lorber company who have a new streaming service called Kino Now. And it was hard to pick 12. I mean, I could pick dozens more, but these ones leaped out at me and I wrote about them. So you can scroll down and read my comments and also get a link to click on if you're interested in streaming these classic films. What are my credentials? Well, I don't know. I'm a cinephile from way back and a former director of the Yale Film Society. And, well, I don't know. I studied filmmaking at Andover Summer School. What other credentials does anybody need, man? It's my opinion. Everybody's got them. And, okay, so you can read them there. I hope it instills interest in these films because they're classics in my book. And what else do I have to say? I don't know. Not a lot. Other than it sure is hot in New York. And there's so much weird energy on the street. I can't tell you. Awareness, a general awareness, and a lot of people still not wearing masks. I posted earlier today, the West Village where we live has got the worst track record for businesses that are violating mandates about wearing masks or selling alcohol without food on the street. And hey, party on. No, not for me, thank you. But please stay safe, everybody. And I will sign off for now, but I want to say I'm doing a special tribute to the great Rolling Stones, my favorite all-time band, this Saturday at 3 p.m. Who knows, it might be extended to by popular demand, but I love these guys, and I saw them with Brian Jones play in my hometown October 30th, 1965. It changed my life. There's a new documentary all about Brian Jones that I was just sent that's sensational. And I'll say more about that. But please tune in this Saturday at 3 p.m. And what is the occasion other than my great enthusiasm for this long-standing, long-running band? Sunday is Sir Michael Philip Jagger's 76th birthday, so we got to give it a proper, dignified salute. And, good old Sir Mick. I hope to see you on Saturday at 3 p.m., okay? And until that time, take care. I love you guys. And I'll see you real soon. All right, bye now.